The stars glittered above the Galactic Hospital, the largest medical station in the Orion sector. Here, alien medics of all shapes and sizes, some with glowing skin, others with multiple eyes, tended to life forms from across the cosmos. They thought they had seen it all. But today something new appeared on their radar. A small, simple, unarmed human spaceship. Whispers rippled through the corridors. Humans. What do they want? One medic hissed. They aren't like any species we treat. Be careful, another cautioned. The ship docked, the airlock opened, and a small group of humans emerged. They wore plain suits, their faces calm, their hands empty. There was nothing unusual about them except for the quiet confidence in their eyes. The head medic, a tall, blue-scaled alien named Zirek, stepped forward. Greetings, humans. Why have you come to our hospital? A woman with short brown hair met his gaze. We heard you need help. We want to help you. We can give our life fluid to save your patients. The alien medics froze. Life fluid. The most precious substance in the galaxy, the very essence that powered their bodies and healed their wounds. No one gave it freely. And now, these humans were offering it. For nothing in return? Wait. Zirek's voice trembled. You will give it freely? You ask for nothing? The human woman smiled gently. No, life is a gift. It should be shared. The medics exchanged stunned glances. This is impossible. No species does this. Why would they risk themselves? A young medic named Trell squinted, suspicious. Are they trying to trick us? Are they hiding something? He watched as the humans followed them inside, walking calmly past glowing medical tanks and strangely shaped alien patients. The humans didn't seem scared or overwhelmed. They simply smiled and spoke softly, their presence a soothing balm in the sterile halls. Then came the first donation. A human man sat down, a tube connecting his arm to a patient's tank. The alien medics held their collective breaths. The machine beeped, the fluid flowed, and nothing bad happened. The human didn't weaken or faint. He just smiled at the patient and said, It's okay. You'll be better soon. Zirek shivered. Impossible, he whispered. Donating life fluid should weaken him. But he seemed stronger. One by one, the other humans followed suit. Each donated without hesitation. Each patient's condition improved, their color returning, their energy rising. The baffled medics ran scans and checked for hidden devices, but found nothing. No tricks, just humans, giving freely. Trell couldn't contain his curiosity. How can you do this, he asked. The woman simply replied, We are humans. We live by helping each other. It's our way. Suddenly, an alarm blared. A new patient, critically injured. The medics panicked. There wasn't enough time. Without a word, the humans stepped forward, offering their fluid once more. Within minutes, the patient stabilized. Trell stared, his mind reeling. He had never seen such courage, such selflessness. Zirek's scales glimmered with awe. We have studied life for centuries, but I don't understand them, he admitted. The woman looked at him gently. Because life is more than power. Life is love. Life is sharing. As the humans moved from patient to patient, Zirek realized something terrifying and beautiful. This small crew was about to change everything the galaxy thought it knew about life. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. The alarm rang again. Another critical patient. Zirek looked at the humans and whispered, If they can save this one, we may witness a miracle. As the humans calmly prepared, Trell couldn't stop thinking, who are these humans, and what are they really capable of? Far away among the silent stars, something ancient stirred, its attention fixed on this tiny hospital, where a story had just begun. The hospital corridors fell silent, but the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. The humans had just done something no alien species had ever conceived of. They had willingly given away their life fluid and walked away completely unharmed. Zirek, his blue scales shimmering under the medical station's soft lights, paced back and forth. This can't be natural, he muttered to himself. There's a secret here and we need to find it. Trell, a young and eager alien medic, nodded in agreement. Let's observe them. Record everything. Maybe there's something we're missing. So they set up a small, hidden observation room. Invisible screens, cameras, and scanners were deployed, all focused on detecting some hidden energy, some secret technology, anything that could explain this anomaly. The medics watched, their minds reeling with disbelief. The humans moved through the wards with a quiet, calm purpose. They healed one alien patient after another, connecting tubes of their life fluid without a moment's hesitation, and with each donation the aliens witnessed the impossible. The humans' energy levels didn't drop. They actually seemed to rise. Zirak leaned closer to the screen, whispering to Trell, "Every species we know weakens after giving life fluid. Every single one. But they grow stronger?" Trell stared at the data readouts, his antennas twitching. It's true. Their cells, they're regenerating faster after donating. How is that even possible? At that moment, a tall human man sat cross-legged in the middle of the ward, meditating. A small, nervous alien child approached him. The human simply extended a hand, and a wave of warmth spread through the young alien, melting away its fear. A shiver went down Zirak's spine. Their energy, it's not just physical. It's affecting their minds, their spirits. This is beyond our science. They decided to run an experiment. They tried to replicate the process with a volunteer from a captured alien species. The volunteer was brave, but as the fluid transfer began, his body convulsed, and his energy levels plummeted. Trell looked on, worried. It can't be duplicated. The humans are unique. The humans, oblivious to the scrutiny, just smiled and comforted their patients. They moved with a calm, purposeful grace, full of life. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the station. A small meteor storm had struck a nearby research outpost. Critically injured aliens were being rushed to their hospital. The humans immediately stepped forward. "We'll help," one of the women said calmly, looking directly at Zirak. "We know it's dangerous, but we can't turn away." Zirak swallowed, confused. "Dangerous? For you?" The human offered a faint smile. "We face danger every day. We are humans. We do what is right." The first critical patient was connected to a human donor. As the life fluid flowed, the alien's breathing steadied, and its wounds began to close at a rate that defied all known medical technology. Then, a second patient arrived, a massive alien with 3 failing hearts. Even the most seasoned medics began to panic, but not the humans. They moved with an incredible precision, connecting multiple tubes at once. Their own energy seemed to surge as they gave more, and the giant patient began to stabilize. Trell whispered to Zirak, his voice filled with awe. I think they aren't just healing. They're amplifying life itself." Zirak felt a mix of awe and fear. If that's true, then humans are more than just another species. They're something else entirely. Meanwhile, back in the observation room, the sensors detected a strange anomaly, a faint, immeasurable energy field pulsing around the humans. The medics realized something terrifying. Whatever the humans were doing was beyond science, beyond biology, beyond any rule the galaxy had ever known. After saving the last patient, the humans simply smiled and walked away as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But the medics couldn't look away. They weren't just curious anymore. They were afraid. Zirak turned to Trell, his voice low and urgent. "We must understand them, but I fear the truth. What if humans are the strongest force in the galaxy, and we don't even know it yet?" Trell looked at the humans, now meditating peacefully. "And what if they aren't just here to heal?" he whispered. "What if they're here to teach us something we never imagined?" Far beyond the hospital, among the glittering stars, something ancient and powerful stirred. It had sensed the humans' energy, their courage, their unique gift, and it was watching, waiting. The story, it seemed, had only just begun. The hospital was eerily quiet in the storm's aftermath. Injured aliens, once on the brink, were now recovering at an impossible rate, all thanks to the human's life fluid. Zirak, the head medic, paced through the wards, his mind a whirlwind of confusion. Something is different about them, he muttered to his colleague Trell. Their energy, their courage, it's not just physical. It's something else. Trell nodded, his gaze fixed on the humans. They moved with a serene grace, speaking softly as they tended to each patient. I've studied thousands of species, Trell whispered, but none behave like this. None give so willingly. None possess this kind of strength. A human woman noticed their intense stares and approached with a gentle smile. You're curious about us, aren't you? Zirak was taken aback. Curious, we are stunned. How can you risk your own lives like this? How can you give life so freely? The woman's faint smile remained. We're humans. We believe life is more than just survival. It's about helping each other, sharing strength, sharing hope. That's our way. Trell's antennas twitched with intrigue. Sharing hope? So it's not just a physical transaction? The human nodded. Exactly. Energy is important, but so is spirit, courage, love. They're invisible, but they're what make life worth living. The two medics exchanged uneasy glances. Their own species prized survival above all else. Strength, cunning, and power were the cornerstones of their civilization. But humans were a complete anomaly. Suddenly, a piercing alarm shattered the calm. A new, highly contagious virus was tearing through an outer medical ward. Alien patients were collapsing, their vital signs plummeting. Panic erupted. Without a moment's hesitation, the humans stepped forward. We'll help, a tall man said, his voice a pillar of calm amidst the chaos. The medics shouted warnings, but their words were lost as the humans charged into the fray. The virus was relentless. Alien bodies failed, machines shrieked their desperate warnings, and the medical staff scrambled. Yet, the humans moved with a methodical purpose, connecting tubes of their life fluid, giving freely, fearlessly. Trell watched, awestruck. Even facing a deadly pathogen, they don't hesitate. They are fearless. He saw the human woman place her hand on a convulsing patient. A warm, soft glow spread from her fingertips, and miraculously, the alien's condition stabilized. Zirak's scanners whirred, trying to quantify the energy, but they registered nothing. It was beyond technology. This isn't just life fluid, Zirak stammered, his voice trembling. It's something more, something alive, something human. As the humans worked tirelessly, each donation did more than just heal. It fortified the aliens' bodies, their minds, their will to live. The medics had never seen such rapid, miraculous recoveries. Meanwhile, Trell noticed something on the star charts. A faint, almost imperceptible ripple among the distant constellations. An energy far beyond any known technology, reacting to the human's presence. Zirak, Trell whispered, his voice tight. It's not just in here. Something out there, in the galaxy, is sensing them. Their eyes widened in shared understanding. After centuries of studying the cosmos, they had never witnessed such a response. Humans were not just extraordinary, they were fundamentally altering the fabric of reality around them. The last patient was stabilized. The humans stood together, exhausted, but smiling. Zirak, overcome with a mixture of awe and fear, finally asked the question burning in his mind. Why? Why are you like this? Why risk so much for strangers? The woman looked at him, her eyes filled with a profound gentleness. Because life is meant to be shared. Fear grows when we hoard life for ourselves. Courage grows when we risk it for others. The medics were speechless. In all their millennia of existence, no species had ever acted this way. Humans were rewriting the very rules of the universe. Trell looked at them, his voice low. Zirak, we are witnessing something the galaxy has never seen. They are more than a species. They are a force, and we don't yet understand their full power. As if on cue, the ripple in space intensified. It was not a natural phenomenon. Something ancient, massive, and unseen was awakening. It had felt the humans' courage, their selflessness, their unique gift. And now, it was watching, waiting. Unaware of the cosmic eyes fixed upon them, the humans prepared to leave the ward, their duty done. But Xerac knew. Something in the galaxy had taken notice. Their journey was far from over. For the first time, the alien medics truly understood. Humanity was not just another species. It was a signal of hope, a force the universe had never imagined, and a dangerous question posed to all that existed. The story was no longer just about healing. It was about what humans could teach the universe and whether anything, alien or ancient, could withstand the power of their courage. The stars shimmered, tense and silent, and the humans walked on, unaware that their simple act of kindness had already begun to change the galaxy forever. The calm after the storm lasted only a few moments. Suddenly, alarms blared across the entire hospital. Red lights strobed, painting the corridors in a wash of crimson, and a piercing siren echoed through the halls. A new crisis had arrived, far worse than anything they had faced before. The hospital's sensors detected an unknown virus, spreading like wildfire among the alien patients. It was unlike anything the medics had ever seen. Cells began to decay within hours, and the frantic beeping of vital monitors filled the air. Panic surged through the medical staff. Trell's antennae twitched with agitation. This is beyond our control. We can't stop it. Xerac, the hospital director, his scales glimmering under the flashing lights, snapped orders. Prepare every ward, isolate the patients, we must contain it. Amid the escalating chaos, the humans moved with an unnerving calm. Their eyes were focused, their hands steady. They didn't hesitate, even as the alien medics scrambled around them, completely overwhelmed. We will help, the tall human man said softly, almost as if speaking to himself. We cannot just stand by. Just then, the first infected patient coughed violently, and the aliens watching gasped in horror. The disease seemed unstoppable. The patient's monitor beeped faster and faster. The human approached, calmly connecting the tubes of his own life fluid. The moment it touched the patient, a faint glow spread through their body. The patient's vitals stabilized, their breaths deepened, and color returned to their pale skin. The medics stared in absolute shock. Impossible, muttered one. Human life fluid should weaken them. It's supposed to be dangerous. Yet, the human stepped back and offered a faint smile, a powerful energy radiating from him. He didn't falter, even as a second and then a third patient collapsed nearby. Trell whispered, his voice filled with awe. They aren't just healing. They're amplifying life itself. The virus, however, moved faster than anyone had anticipated. Alien medics began to fear for the humans' safety. It's too much, shouted Xerac. They can't survive this many donations. But the humans continued their work, their faces calm and determined. Their energy seemed to grow with each life they saved, flowing through their veins like a river of pure light. The infected aliens began to heal at impossible speeds, so fast that the medical machines could barely keep up with the data. A young alien boy collapsed near the corridor. Without a moment's hesitation, the human woman knelt beside him, placing her hands on his small frame. A warmth flowed from her palms, spreading through his body. He opened his eyes slowly, weak but undeniably alive. Xerac's voice trembled. I have seen many miracles in my time, but nothing like this. They are beyond comprehension. Suddenly, a massive system-wide alarm rang out. The virus had breached containment and reached the outer wards. Entire sections of the hospital were now at risk. Panic swept through the alien medics again. They shouted orders, but chaos reigned supreme. The humans split into pairs, moving methodically through the wards, their focus unwavering. They healed, they calmed, and they reassured each terrified patient. They were risking their own lives with every step, yet nothing seemed to harm them. In fact, they only seemed to grow stronger. Trell couldn't tear his eyes away. They are fearless, and they are teaching us courage, not with words, but with action. But then, a subtle ripple in the air caught Zirak's attention. Something outside the hospital stirred. Something dark, ancient, and impossibly immense. It had sensed the humans' courage, their selfless sacrifice, and the unique energy flowing through them. And it was moving closer. Zirak whispered urgently, "Trell, this is not just a virus. Something out there in the galaxy is aware of us. Something old and dangerous." The humans, completely unaware of the cosmic eyes now fixed upon them, continued their work. Calmly, confidently. Every life they saved strengthened the hospital, the aliens, and even themselves. The virus began to weaken under the sheer force of their energy, but new infections were still appearing faster than they could be cured. It was a desperate race against time. Each donation was a gamble, yet they risked everything to save strangers from another world. Trell's voice trembled as he watched them. "Zirak, they are rewriting the rules of life itself. They are unstoppable." Zirak swallowed hard. "And yet, they are fragile. One mistake, one moment of weakness, and it could all end." But the humans showed no weakness. With every patient saved, their energy pulsed brighter. Their courage radiated like a beacon, reaching even the most desperate corners of the hospital. As the last alarm finally quieted, and the last of the infected patients stabilized, the humans stood together, exhausted but with faint smiles on their faces. The alien medics looked on, awestruck, their hearts racing with a mixture of profound fear and overwhelming admiration. Zirak turned to Trell. "We have studied life for centuries, but humans are not just alive. They are a force, and the galaxy will never be the same again." And somewhere far beyond the stars, the ancient watcher had taken notice. It stirred in the darkness, its eyes fixed on the humans, sensing a power it had never encountered before. The story was no longer just about healing a virus. It was about humans challenging the very limits of life, courage, and hope. And the galaxy was about to realize that the true threat, or perhaps its greatest blessing, was only just beginning. Thank you for watching. The hospital was quiet now, the virus contained, but the air was thick with tension. Alien medics whispered among themselves, their eyes wide with disbelief. Humans had not only saved the patients, they had done so without any apparent cost to themselves. Zirak, the lead medic, paced slowly, his scales flickering under the soft lights. "We have studied life for centuries," he murmured. "We know every species' limits, every rule. And yet, these humans break every law we know." His colleague, Trell, nodded, his gaze fixed on the humans as they moved calmly through the wards. "Their life fluid. It doesn't just heal. It strengthens. It adapts. Their energy flows in ways no technology can measure." Just then, one of the human women noticed their stare and approached with a gentle expression. "You are curious about us, aren't you?" she asked. Zirak hesitated, then voiced the question burning in every medic's mind. "How can you survive giving your life energy so freely? How can you heal so many without harm to yourselves?" The woman smiled, a calm, serene expression on her face. "Our life fluid is different. It is not just a resource, it is part of who we are. When we give, we do not weaken. We adapt. We grow stronger because we share, because we care." Trell's antennas twitched in astonishment. You mean it is biological? A part of your species?" "Yes," she confirmed. "Humans evolved this way. We survive not by taking, but by giving. The more we help others, the stronger we become, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Courage, empathy, and life itself are all connected." Zirak could hardly believe it. This changes everything we know about life. No species has ever evolved like this." The humans continued their work, moving quietly from patient to patient. Each touch, each transfer of life fluid brought rapid recovery. The very machines designed to monitor life signs beeped in confusion, unable to measure the energy flowing through the wards. Then Trell noticed a ripple outside the hospital, faint but undeniable. The stars seemed to shimmer differently, as if reacting to the humans' presence. "Zirak, It's the same as before, he whispered. Something in the galaxy is aware of them, and it is responding. Zirak's eyes widened. We thought the virus was our greatest threat, but the galaxy itself feels them. The humans paused for a moment, looking toward the window at the distant stars, seemingly unaware of the ancient presence watching them. They just smiled, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Trell shook his head in awe. They are teaching us something we cannot even comprehend. It is not just biology. It is philosophy, courage, and hope combined. Humanity is beyond survival. It is an idea given form. Zirak felt a mix of awe and fear. If this is true, humans are not just a species. They are a signal, a force that can change the very balance of the galaxy. A human man spoke quietly, almost as if he had read Zirak's mind. Life is strongest when shared, he said. Fear is born from hoarding. True power comes from giving, from courage, and from unity. That is why we can survive what others cannot. The alien medics exchanged glances. They had seen miracles, but never a species that embodied hope, courage, and strength all at once. Suddenly, a deep vibration resonated through the station. The cosmic watcher outside stirred, its presence now unmistakable. It had felt the humans' energy, their courage, their selflessness, and it had begun to move, slowly, methodically, its intent unknown. Trell looked at Zirak, his voice trembling. They are not just heroes. They are a force the galaxy has never known, but what happens when this something ancient reaches them? Zirak swallowed hard. Whatever it is, it will meet humans. And I fear it will understand what no other species has ever understood, that life, given freely, is the greatest power in existence. The humans continued their quiet work, oblivious to the cosmic eyes upon them. Calm, selfless, and strong beyond imagination. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the stars, the ancient watcher's eyes narrowed. It had seen courage and selflessness flowing in ways it could not control. It was curious now, threatened, intrigued. The story was no longer about survival. It was about humans redefining the rules of life itself. And the galaxy was about to learn that true strength comes not from fear, but from giving freely. The hospital fell into an unsettling quiet once the virus was finally contained. Every patient was stable, and humanity had saved countless lives. But a silent, unspoken tension filled the air. Something ancient, something powerful out in the galaxy, had noticed the humans' energy, and it was drawing closer. From the observation room, Zirak and Trell watched the humans. We've seen courage before, Trell whispered, his voice full of awe. But what they're doing, it's beyond anything we've ever witnessed. Just then, alarms shrieked to life once more. The outer wards were descending into chaos. A cosmic anomaly, an energy surge from deep space, was tearing through the station. Machines sparked and died. Lights flickered violently, and the infected wards were suddenly at risk all over again. But the humans didn't hesitate for a second. With an unnerving calm, they moved toward the crisis. "We will help," said the woman, her voice steady, almost serene. "No one gets left behind." Zirak's scales shimmered with worry. The energy from this anomaly, it could harm them. Even their life fluid might not be enough to protect them this time. Yet the humans worked without a hint of fear. Each tube they connected, each transfer of their life fluid, carried not just healing energy, but a tangible wave of hope and courage. They moved from one patient to the next, giving freely, their bodies glowing faintly under the strobe-like lights. A critically injured alien, massive and on the verge of death, was wheeled in. Every medic hesitated, knowing the immense risk, but the human man stepped forward immediately. "I'll go first," he said. The medics tried to protest, but he just shook his head. "We don't stop. Life is worth the risk." The moment his life fluid touched the massive alien, a shock wave of energy rippled through the ward. Machines blinked wildly, sensors overloaded, and even the humans began to show signs of strain. Their skin pulsed with raw power. Their breaths grew ragged. But they kept going. Trell gasped. They're giving too much. They're going to collapse. But they didn't stop. One by one, they healed every single patient, pushing their bodies far beyond any limits the alien medics had ever seen. Whenever one human weakened, another stepped in, unflinching, their determination a force of nature. It was then that Zirak finally understood. They're not just giving life, he realized. They're risking everything to save strangers. And somehow, they're growing stronger in spirit. Their courage. It's feeding itself. Outside the station, the cosmic watcher stirred. Its immense form shimmered in the void, sensing the raw, selfless energy of the humans. It had never encountered a force like this, one that gave so freely, risking its own existence, yet grew stronger with each act of sacrifice. Back inside, the humans completed the last transfer. They were utterly exhausted, some trembling from the strain, but they stood together, smiling faintly at the medics. Trell whispered, almost in awe, "They could have died, yet they chose to save others. This is heroism beyond comprehension." And the human woman looked directly at Zirak. "Every life matters. Fear is the easy choice. Courage, that's the hard one. And we choose courage." Zirak's voice was barely audible. "In all my centuries, I have never seen such bravery. Humanity, you're not just strong. You are legendary." The alien medics finally got it. Humans didn't measure strength by survival or domination. They measured it by how much they could give, and how selflessly they could act. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the stars, the ancient watcher paused. It had felt humanity's courage, its selflessness, and its power. It was intrigued, perhaps even threatened. But it had also learned something profound. Life given freely is the most powerful force in the galaxy. The humans, completely unaware of their cosmic audience, prepared to leave the wards, calm, exhausted, victorious. But their journey was far from over. The galaxy had taken notice, and their legend was only just beginning. The hospital was unnervingly quiet. The virus, the great terror that had swept through the wards, was finally gone, defeated. The injured aliens, once on the brink of fading away, were now recovering, their bodies mending thanks to the humans' incredible gift, their life fluid. But the stillness in the air wasn't just from the absence of chaos. It was a silence born of awe. The alien medics, beings who had seen wonders and terrors across star systems, simply stared at the humans. Their own species, fierce and resilient, had survived impossible dangers, yet these humans, they gave of themselves, their very life force, again and again, without a flicker of fear or a moment of hesitation. Zirak, the lead medic, felt his scales shimmer in the dim light of the recovery ward. "I have seen courage," he murmured, his voice raspy with emotion. "I have seen miracles performed with advanced tech. But humanity is unlike anything the galaxy has ever known." Beside him, Trell nodded, her multiple eyes still wide with an overwhelming sense of wonder. "They are not just strong," she added, her thoughts still trying to grasp the concept. "They are a symbol. They show us what life could truly be, what we could be." The humans moved calmly through the wards. They didn't boast or demand praise. They just were. Smiling faintly, speaking in soft, reassuring tones to patients who were, until recently, complete strangers from distant worlds. Their energy radiated a quiet warmth, a gentle power that seemed to touch every being in the hospital, soothing anxieties and quieting fears. Even the most hardened, skeptical veterans of interstellar conflicts could feel it, this profound sense of peace. One of the humans, a woman with kind eyes, noticed Zirak watching and approached him. "We don't do this for recognition," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "We do it because it's the right thing to do. Life is strongest when it's shared. That's the truth we live by." In that moment, Zirak realized something profound. No technology, no superweapon, no ancient, powerful alien species had ever embodied courage and generosity like this. In their quiet humility, Humans had completely redefined what it meant to be powerful. But their act of boundless compassion had not gone unnoticed. Far beyond the known stars, an ancient watcher, a being of immense and timeless power, had stirred. It had observed the humans' selflessness, this unique, vibrant energy they radiated, and a courage that defied all logic and fear, and slowly, it withdrew its gaze. Not in retreat, but in respect. It had learned something new after eons of existence. True strength is not found in domination or conquest, but in giving freely, in inspiring hope, and in risking everything for others without expecting anything in return. Back at the hospital, the humans prepared to leave. They were calm, humble, and steady, as if they had done nothing more than lend a neighbor a helping hand. The alien medics watched them go, their minds and hearts irrevocably changed. Zirek spoke quietly, his words a eulogy and a prophecy. They came to heal, but they have changed the way we see life, courage, and hope forever. Trell added, her voice barely a whisper. Their legacy will be told for centuries. They are more than a species. They are an example of what the galaxy could aspire to be. The humans boarded their ship, offering a gentle wave as the ramp closed. The alien medics stood in silent tribute, their hearts full of an emotion they couldn't name, a mixture of gratitude and profound awe. As the ship ascended, leaving the hospital and traveling among the stars, its light seemed to pierce the darkness, leaving a trail of hope in its wake. And somewhere, in distant sectors, rumors began to spread. Whispers turned into stories, stories into legends. Tales of strange bipedal beings called humans who could give life from their own veins, who faced annihilation without flinching, and whose quiet strength had inspired even the most ancient beings in the cosmos. The galaxy began to speak their name, not with fear or suspicion, but with a deep and abiding respect. Zirek watched the stars long after the ship had vanished from sight. In a galaxy filled with fear, greed, and survival at all costs, he murmured to the night, humans have shown us a different path. Sharing life, that is the greatest power of all. Trell's voice was quiet, filled with wonder. They have left a mark not just on our hospital, but on the entire galaxy. Their courage, their way of life, it will inspire generations. Humanity is legendary. And so, the story ended. Not with a bang, not with destruction or conquest, but with a simple, earth-shattering truth. The most powerful force in the universe is the willingness to give of oneself, to face the darkness with courage, and to inspire hope in others. The stars shimmered above the hospital, silent witnesses, carrying the story of humanity's heroism across the light years. The galaxy had been changed quietly and forever. Humanity's legend had just begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If this story moved you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more tales from across the stars. See you next time. Years have passed since the humans last visited the Galactic Hospital. To the alien medics like Zirek and Trell, it feels like only yesterday. They recorded every moment, studied every action, and have been discussing humanity ever since. For all their advanced technology and vast knowledge, nothing could fully explain what they had witnessed. The raw, unyielding spirit of a species that defied all logic. The galaxy itself feels different now. The stories of human courage, their unbelievable selflessness, and that mysterious life-giving fluid have spread across countless star systems. Entire civilizations are rethinking their ways. Long-standing wars have paused. Rival factions are actually sitting down to negotiate. Species once ruled by fear are now looking for a glimmer of hope. Trell often wanders through the now quiet halls of the hospital, a place once defined by sterile efficiency and protocol. It's as if the humans left a signal, he once whispered to Zirek, not just in our station, but in the minds of every being they touched. Zirek, ever the scientist, could only nod in slow agreement. Their presence echoes across the stars, he replied. They are no longer just a species. They've become an idea, a lesson, a challenge to every creature in the galaxy. Meanwhile, far beyond the charted regions of space, An ancient, powerful entity known as the Watcher stirred once more. It had observed humanity for eons, sensing their growing influence ripple through the cosmic fabric. Curiosity and respect mingled with a deep sense of caution. Something primal in the Watcher's consciousness understood an undeniable truth. Humans were fundamentally rewriting the rules of life, courage, and hope. Back on the hospital's observation deck, a new generation is taking shape. Alien medics watch as children, both human and alien, play together, learn from each other, and fill the station with laughter. The core of the human philosophy is spreading, not through force but through example. Helping others, risking oneself for the greater good, and sharing life freely is the ultimate form of strength. Suddenly, a new signal flashes on the hospital's main sensor array. It's a distress call from a distant, chaotic world. Another crisis, another impossible situation. But this time there is no panic among the alien medics. Instead, a quiet determination fills the room. They remember the humans' unflinching courage. They remember the lesson they learned. Life is strongest when it is shared, and fear only holds power if you allow it to control you. Trell looks at Zirak, a faint smile playing on his lips. They may be gone from this station, he says, but their influence, it's alive. Humans are no longer just a story. They're the spark that will ignite the galaxy. Zirak nods, his gaze fixed on the distant stars. The galaxy has changed, he affirms. Not because of powerful weapons, not because of conquest, but because of courage, selflessness, and hope. Humanity's echo will guide us for centuries to come. And somewhere far, far away, a human ship glides silently between the stars, its crew unaware of the legend they've become. Unknown worlds await them. New challenges, dangers, and profound mysteries lie ahead. Yet, they move forward with a calm resolve, carrying with them the simple truth that life is strongest when shared, and that true courage is the universe's ultimate power. The stars themselves seem to shimmer a little brighter, carrying their story to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, ensuring the echo of their courage will never, ever fade. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more tales from across the cosmos. We'll see you in the next one.